Hello everyone. Today we're going to make a healthier version of one of our favorite Indian appetizers. We're going to make samosa pie or samosa casserole. To make the crust for our pie, we're going to use 3 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour, 10 tablespoons of vegan butter, earth balanced butter, half a cup of cold water, and 1.5 teaspoons of sugar and a pinch of salt. And then for our samosa filling, we're going to use 14-ounce package of frozen peas that we have thawed, 2 small bunches of fresh spinach that we've roughly chopped, a 29-ounce can of chickpeas, no salt chickpeas that we've drained and rinsed, 2.5 cups of full-fat coconut milk, 2 large tomatoes that have been finely chopped, 4 jalapeno peppers that have been finely chopped, 2 medium carrots that have also been finely chopped, 2 large potatoes that have been boiled and then cubed up, half a cup of fresh parsley that have been minced, 4 tablespoons of all-purpose unbleached flour, half a cup of fresh basil that has been finely chopped. And for spices, we're going to use 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 3/4 to 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, it depends on how hot you want it, 2 medium onions that has been finely chopped, 4 more tablespoons of earth balanced butter, a 2-inch piece of fresh ginger that has been finely chopped, 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, and 2 teaspoons of mustard seed. If you can find brown mustard seed and use it, that's better. It would be nice and flavorful and a little spicier, but we were unable to find it, so we're using plain yellow mustard seed. And 1 teaspoon of garam masala, and 3 or 4 cloves of garlic that have been finely minced. So let's get started.
First, we're going to start with our pie crust. In a food processor, we're going to combine our all-purpose flour and our sugar, and then we're going to process to combine. Next, we're going to add our butter, and then we're going to process them until they become crumbs. After a while, should look something like this. Next, we're going to add in our half cup of water, and we're going to process this until it forms into a dough. If you see the dough is too dry, go ahead and add a couple tablespoons of water until it forms into a dough. Once you see the dough ball up like this on one side, that means it's ready.
After our dough is ready in the food processor, the next step is to turn your dough out onto a floured work surface. So we're just going to take some flour and throw it out on our work surface. Then we're going to take our dough and pull it out of our food processor. Okay, now we're just going to work this a little bit. We're going to work this into about a 1-inch thick or so pancake. And we're going to take our pancake and we're going to wrap it in plastic wrap. And we're going to put this in the refrigerator where it needs to sit for at least a half an hour.
While our dough is chilling in the refrigerator, we're going to go ahead and start on the filling for our samosa. So in a large pot, I've added a couple of tablespoons of olive oil and made sure that it's about medium-high heat, ready to go. We're going to go ahead and pop in our cumin seeds and our mustard seeds, and we're basically going to heat them up until they start to pop. start them to hear pop, be very careful, and we're going to go ahead and add in our onions. I'm going to mix this and let them saute for about 5 minutes. Once your onions have sauteed for about 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and add in our carrots. And then we're going to go ahead and continue sauteing for an additional 5 minutes. Once our carrots have sauteed for about 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and add in our jalapeños and our ginger. And then we're going to continue sauteing this for about a couple more minutes. Once our mixture has sauteed for about an additional couple minutes, we're going to go ahead and add in all of our spices. And then we're going to mix this in, and we're going to continue sauteing this for about a minute or so. Once the spices have been mixed in and cooked for about a minute, we're going to go ahead and add in our tomatoes. And then we're going to continue sauteing this until all the moisture is out of the tomatoes. Once your mixture has thickened, we're going to go ahead and add in our garlic, as well as our spinach. And then we're just going to give this a mix and basically cook this until the spinach wilts. Once your spinach has wilted in the mixture, we're going to go ahead and add our parsley, basil, chickpeas, green peas, and last but not least, our potatoes. We're going to mix this gingerly until it's all well combined. Once your mixture is well combined, we're going to take this off the heat and set aside. Next we're going to do the sauce. We've added 4 tablespoons of earth balance to a saucepan over low heat and get it nice and melted. Then we're going to add the flour. Then we're going to whisk it in and keep stirring until the mixture becomes brown. Okay, you can see that our butter flour mixture has turned brown. So we're going to go ahead and add in our coconut milk. And then we're going to turn the heat up to medium-high heat. And we're going to stir this until it thickens. Once our sauce has thickened up, you can see it's nice and thick, we're going to go ahead and add in our garam masala. And then we're just going to stir that in. Okay, once it's well mixed in, we're going to take it off the heat and set aside. Now that we finished our cream sauce, we placed our veggie mixture back on the stove over medium heat. Then we're going to take that cream sauce that we just made, and we're going to pour it in here. Then we're going to mix this up gingerly. Once we have this mixed up, we're just going to let this sit, stirring occasionally, for about 5 to 10 minutes until all the flavors combine as one.
While our filling is going through its final heating phase, we're going to go ahead and roll out our dough, get it ready for our casserole dish. You can do this on a floured surface, or I like to do it with wax paper. So I take and I wet the counter down a little bit. This helps wax paper stick to the counter so it doesn't slide around on you while you're rolling out the dough. And then lay down a sheet of wax paper. And then turn your dough out on top of the wax paper. And then take another sheet of wax paper and put over top. And begin to roll. We're using about a 9 by 11 pan, so we want to roll it out so it's big enough to cover a 9 by 11 pan, with a little bit extra hanging over the sides. Okay, I've rolled out the dough. I've removed the top layer of wax paper. As you can see, the dough is big enough to cover our pot without any trouble at all.
At this point, you want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And we also used some non-stick spray to spray on our casserole dish. And then we're going to take our mixture off the heat and pour into the casserole dish. Then we're just going to go ahead and flatten the mixture out. Then we're going to take our dough and flip the dough over so the wax paper is face up onto the casserole dish. Just like so. Then carefully remove the wax paper off of the dough.
Okay, first thing we're going to do with our crust, now that we have it on our dish, is to go ahead and trim off any excess. Now we're just going to try to seal it up so it's sealed to the edge of the dish. And you can do this however you want to do it. You can do it fancy, you can do it just kind of stuff it in there, whatever you want to do with it at this point. After we have our crust sealed up around the edges, we need to cut a couple slices in the top of the dough to allow the steam to vent while it's cooking in the oven. And then we're going to put this in the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to cook it for 35 or 40 minutes until the crust is nice and browned on top.
Okay, we just took our samosa pie out of the oven. Now we're going to serve our samosa pie onto a plate, just like so. And top it off with the crust. And there you go. Eat and enjoy. We hope you enjoyed our video. If you did, please subscribe. Or click on the Patreon link below. Or you can click on the videos from last week.
Bye!
Bye!